Hello, everyone. This is Duran's Healing, and welcome to tonight's Healing Circle. For those of you who are new here, welcome to my channel, where I provide weekly energetic updates for the collective. And as I began to blaze this fire tonight, gather around and contribute your very powerful energy, whether it be a like, a share, subscribe, or comment below to let me know how these messages are showing up in your world. And for starters, I would like to say, for those of you who aren't new here, my name is Duran's Healing, and I provide cowrie shell divination readings. And this is an ancient indigenous technology system where I use crystals, stones, bones, and a lot of other assorted items here in conjunction with the 5 elements: the fire, the earth, the water, the nature, and the mineral. And this allows me to see the energetic threads of consciousness moving throughout the universe. With that being said, I would like to take a dive into the stones to see what's going on out here. And the message that's speaking the loudest is coming from your spirit guides, your ancestor team, or your higher team, and it's landing itself in the waters, right next to the otherworldly energy ring. And what I'm downloading here is that your higher team or your spirit guides are bringing attention to the otherworldliness within your energy. There's something about a cleansing in this process, or there's something being cleared out in this process. Because what I can see here in this illustration is almost like you're being taken down a whirlwind almost. If you're in the waters, you have touched a current which has swept you underneath, taking you away. Yeah, this otherworldly energy that I'm sensing here is very fast, sweeping you away. But this looks radically different in the paradigm that you live in. There may be a bit of disruption going on in your world. Something like out of the blue that you did not expect, disrupting the course of things. This is about timing. There's something about them wanting to interrupt or disrupt you from going down the same mundane cycle, breaking you out of the rigid structure that you may be living in. And I know for some of you who live in the West, it is a very tight system if you're not an entrepreneur or working for yourself. If you're going into a job, it tends to be a bit tight and a bit rigid. And something here is showing up to me that your world may have been impacted by this otherworldly energy. Something happened, or something will happen. I'm not particularly sure, but there's something about a disruption of things for your higher good, for you to stay on this current that I can see running here throughout this water system. And it wants to keep you in alignment so you don't stray too far away from your core frequency, from the higher energies that you're tapped into. And I know I speak about an otherworldly energy a lot, and it's hard to put words to this, but it's about the spiritual component within yourself that is connected to this very same frequency that's radiating out here in the cosmos. Yeah, this is a spiritual matter, a higher consciousness here. It's very sophisticated, it's very intelligent, and you're connected to it at your core. And this representation of the ring symbolizes this very frequency that you carry. And being that they're disrupting it is to keep you in the flow of things, to keep you in the flow of the energies that are moving around you. And I can see it almost being like they're taking you down this water current, and the current gets high, the intensity gets strong, and it sweeps you away, making you lose control of your stroke, or of your swimming, or of your floating. And you're trying to keep yourself afloat with all these intense waves that you're undergoing or feeling, trying to keep your head above the water. But somehow this current takes you down a waterfall. But before you take this plunge, or before you get swept up down this waterfall, the obstacle appears. A boulder, preventing you from going down this path. But it's very interesting why this dam is here. Why it is a stop in the flow of things. Because this energy is very supportive. This energy is very healing. But something here is rising. It may be coming from within you. That may be stopping you from trusting what is going on. Your mind may be trying to kick in to what it knows, which is survival mode. I don't know what exactly this obstacle stone is, but I would like to pull some cards to take a bit of dive in the waters to see what is stopping you from going down further in this very healing and positive energy. What is this obstacle about for the collective? And in terms of this obstacle, the cards that came out were boundaries, hard truth, in the mist, boiling, 777, and truth. There's something about a truth here. And what I'm downloading is that you may have been the type of person who have always been deeply spiritual, deeply intuitive, where your boundaries were like your sensory guide. There's something about a physiological makeup here. Something in your energy always told you the truth, very hard truths about any given situation, any given environment, or any given energy you came in contact with. And there's something about you being close but off to the side, like you were an introvert, but you were also extroverted. You knew your boundaries in terms of when to step into the crowd and when to get out of it. Your body told you when you had enough. It was because your energy started to pick up on the frequencies of the people around you, and you started to get messages. You started to get signs and information about people and who they were and where they were without even communicating with them. And you may not even have known why this was a part of your characteristic, why this was a part of your energy. And you also may not have known how to communicate that you were experiencing something so profound. But this was very potent. This was your gift. Being able to intuit people's energy on a very deep level. And something about you being in the midst of the crowd, being in the midst of people that on one end makes you polarizing, right? It makes people gravitate towards you. It makes you excited to be the life of the party because you can pick up on the energetic vibration of the situation or the room you step into. But there's something that always kicks in that starts to boil you up. Boiling in your gut, boiling in your skin. And it's about the spiritual energies around you, who you're really in the midst of. Because you're a spiritual being. You're an intuitive empath. A guiding light that can attract or create this almost like an X-ray around the energies and the vibrations you're in contact with. And unfortunately for you, you can pick up on some unhealthy habits or unhealthy situation and dynamics that people are involved in without you necessarily knowing the details of it. You can feel it, and it boils you up. On 1 minute, you're having a good time, immersing yourself with the highly powerful and positive energy of a crowd, of a person. And the next thing you know, if they're not quite right, if they haven't done the work, your body starts to pick up on it. It's like the longer you stay in it, the more truth you start to feel about their energy. And because you're so deep, you go to the depth of their energy. 777 came out confirming this message. This is the truth. This is the hard truth about your energy and your makeup. And because you're going through this whirlwind right now, you may have thought or been in a very positive wave of energy. And something about it made you think you were normal, made you thought you were in a homeostasis where you found your place of peace, where you found your balance, right? You thought you figured out how to be a proper human and a proper spiritual person where you can maintain yourself and be in the midst of the crowd for a long time. You tried it, you figured out it was not the truth. And the obstacle appeared here to show you that your makeup is this way for a reason, and is halting you to cement or to integrate within your energy before you take this plunge to know that you are who you are. And don't minimize yourself to try to fit in to the current status quo. No, you're not built this way. You're not made this way. And once you embrace this part of yourself, you will start to create these boundaries up within yourself to know how far you can go. It's like this measuring tape to let you know you can only go but so far before your energy starts to boil. And you can let people know, hey, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to get out of this situation without necessarily telling people the details of your energy. See, you figured it out, but you have to configure your energy to know how to make it out in the proper way without revealing the truth of it all. Because people cannot necessarily take all of this in because they may not be at the spiritual level enough to know what you're truly dealing with. And that's what this obstacle is about. Very large message. Thank you all for being here with me and tonight's healing circle. And jumping back into the stones, we're going to go down this waterfall. And as you take this plunger, as you understand this message about yourself, you will start to realize how to make proper connections. How much of yourself you should give to certain people, to certain places without malfunctioning you out, without boiling you over to the point where you shut it all down. And this confusion, when you get overstimulated, when you get high-strung or hot for some of you, it makes you confused. It makes you malfunction. It distorts your energy a bit, creating this fog surrounding your consciousness of you not being able to make a proper choice or a proper decision in the way that you know you're skilled to do. You're skilled at making healthy decisions very quickly, but something about you getting around a lot of people distorts this process for you. The way you're going to help yourself out of this situation is by going with the flow that's least resistant. Going with the flow that is in the makeup of your energetic and spiritual being. Calibrating yourself to have certain boundaries, certain spiritual boundaries about how much energies you can contain, how much energy that you can take in a day. And now that you're understanding this, you're learning to use your energetic coding to your benefit. So that people are not necessarily seeing this boiling point. They just know that you're clocking out. And you're learning how to get in and make radical changes, to make these connections with people in a way that you did not know how to do before. You're learning how to socialize as a spiritual being, not doing it in the way that society has told you to do it. No, you're creating a new wave for the spiritual people, for the spiritual consciousness community to navigate themselves throughout the paradigm. And it's creating radical healing, a deep wave of water that will flush over the paradigm and creating this opening for other people who feel and move in this very same way to be able to figure it out. Because you cracked the code. You've cracked it. This is your medicine. This is what relief you are offering to this planet, water wisdom. A great flow of consciousness in your relationship with the spirit world, streamlining itself to the very paradigm that you live in. Very powerful message, you guys. Thank you all for being here and joining me in tonight's Healing Circle. And if you stayed thus far, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, or comment below to let me know how these messages are showing up in your world. And with that being said, I would like to dive into the second ancestor or spirit guide stone here because it's drawing my attention. And what I'm downloading here is that your spirit guides or your ancestor team are signifying this change or highlighting it or confirming it. And they're speaking to a higher message, a secondary message by saying, this is your identity, being a change agent. Always maneuvering yourself with the different changes in the world around you. You're like a chameleon. And this will allow you to be in a much more powerful position by you embracing this part of yourself. This will not only segue you towards your power being built very strongly, very confidently, but it will also open this portal for you. Being a leader in this way, helping other people be change agents in this very same way. You're going to do this in a very seamless fashion. Through communication, through conversation, when you hear people utter their stories, there's going to be something that registers in your core, in your energetic body, to let you know key signs and key words when they say certain things, and you're going to tell them how to maneuver themselves to get to a healthier place. But this also goes to a larger scale is what I'm seeing here. To the realm of nature, to the realm of magic. It's almost like by you uttering these words or being tapped into this chameleon-like energy, you're able to connect with the realm of magic. Like this steps into Magic 101, doing things in a very unique way, like the transference of energy. That's what it's speaking to. But the higher energy or the realm of the spirit can acknowledge this energy. And it will bring forth to you different entities and different energies of this same calibration. There is another world that is here taking notice of this frequency. Once you embrace it and go down this waterfall, it will usher you into a different realm of magic where nothing is impossible. It's like your coding being one of acceleration. Excelling makes you the proper candidate to be able to curate anything in your world, to pull it in, to draw it in. Now that you know that you're not going to be held down by your conscious mind of fear. not being held down by society's expectation of you to perform in a certain way. You're freeing yourself. Oh, I get it. The reason why they're breaking you out of this mundane system is to free you up. Oh, it's a breakthrough to free you up to enter into a more flexible side of town, the more flexible side of life where you're not so keen or focused on timing, getting to a certain place at a certain time. When you step into this realm of magic, it happens when it happens. It doesn't follow a code of timing. It follows energy. Whatever the energy says, go. If you don't feel like it, you don't feel like it. But the reason why this push or this whirlwind is here, because you need something so potent and so powerful to break you free from the mundane structure, to free you up to a more lackadaisical side of town where consciousness is more potent in this realm. Oh yeah, you will see a different side of life the more you're free, the more you're liberated and allow yourself to go with the flow. A more intimate relationship with the wild side of you that will break apart any given situation that comes your way. Though it may be confusing at first, making you feel all out of sorts, not knowing which way to plant your feet. But don't worry, the wave will guide you to the proper place so that you can cement yourself in this new wave of energy and this new wave of consciousness. Very interesting and very large message that I'm seeing here in the cosmos. But what I will do, I would like to pull some cards to dive a little bit closer into this message, to bring us down as close as we can get to the 3D, to pull in some messages that may resonate with you a little bit closer. What is this secondary message surrounding magic about for the collective? And in terms of the secondary ancestral stone, the cards that came out were free will, mind games, wonky, the quest to be natural, Pluto, and ancient. And what I'm downloading here is that there's this higher energy that is trying to merge you with your free will, to remind you of that. The luxury of your experience is being able to make choices. And something about this energy is also helping you to navigate through all these complex energies that you may be around, because mind games came out. Something about you being involved with people, places, or things that reveals the inner workings of people's mind, their intrusive thoughts, something about the fact that you can sense it. No matter what they say to you, you can see what they're not saying. You can see behind the veil of their energies. And it's so powerful because this energy is starting to make you feel kind of wonky, feeling like you're all out of sorts. But this is pushing you on a quest to be a little bit more natural. But this is a deeper meaning than what I'm feeling here. What I'm downloading here in this card surrounding your quest to be natural is almost like you took on or embarked on a quest to remove yourself from the paradigm or the energies surrounding the current status quo, which led you to a more natural side of life. I can see some of you walking on trails, eating organically, changing up certain things about yourself to align with the frequencies of the earth. But this is a little bit more deeper than that. This energy is speaking to the natural order of your energy. And being that I'm seeing some of you are very complex, it's like, how do you reveal to people the complexity of your being with being honest? Because everyone can't see or doesn't see all of you. They can get in contact with certain components of your energy because of the complexity that you are, and you're trying to reveal all of you or showcase all of you, but people don't meet the energetic threshold. Yeah, and you're trying to figure out how could you be your most authentic self when people themselves don't have the capacity to go down to that level. Yeah, you're learning that even though you're considered a human, at some point you started to realize you're much more deeper than that. You're much more spiritual than that, just like the planet Pluto. At one point it was considered a planet, and then we got the memo, this is no longer a planet. This is the energy that you're on, operating as a human. And then the energies around you in the depth of your spirit sent you a memo that you're more than just a human. There is a spiritual side of you that is very ancient, that is merging you to this freer part of yourself that is aligned with the energetic frequency that is much more larger than a rigid system. And you're trying to merge with that energy. You're trying to make sense of that energy because the initial message started out with the whirlwind, breaking you free from it or making an attempt to let you know there's something much more than your 9 to 5. You're much more than what society is telling you should be at this age, at this time, and what you should have. There's much more fruitfulness to your energy. And that's why this secondary message started out in changing your perspective on your life so you can realize the ancientness of your energy and start to cultivate yourself from the inside out instead of the outside in. You're much more. You're much deeper. And this energy is pushing you towards that direction. Period. Very large message that I'm seeing here, and I'm getting something else. I don't know why they wanted to kick in at the last moment. What I'm hearing is that everything I'm not made me everything I am. There is something about the negation of the frequency that you can see. It's like you can see one thing, but you can also qualify it as another. This kind of dual perspective. It's like a comprehensive assessment that you have is a gift. And now that the energies are pushing you into this direction, you're going to start to see why this gift is potent. You're going to be a deliverer of giving people something alternative to think about. You're going to give the world, the consciousness, a different alternative route to take. But they have to break you out of this rigid structure. They have to break you free from the monotony of things so that this energy can come out. Period. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for joining me in tonight's Healing Circle. And if you stayed thus far, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, or comment below to let me know how these messages are showing up in your world. And with that being said, I'm going to take the time to come down and close out tonight's Healing Circle, and I will see you all at the next.